recapping that game, as you guys are well aware, was a great team effort, a great team win. Really proud of the guys and how they performed. You saw guys stepping up and making plays, and people in different roles doing a great job. So very, very proud of the effort. I thought that they played with a ton of physicality, enthusiasm, which was readily apparent to me. And then big week, got to go on the road versus a really good football team with great players and great coaches. And we got to have a great week of practice in preparation for that challenge. And with that, I will take any questions.
Thank you, Coach. The first one goes to Tom Withers.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Coach. Congratulations. Hey, I'm just wondering how excruciating and exhilarating was that to watch from home?
Yeah, those are two good words, Tom. I don't plan on doing that again.
And just after the game, they said that they got you on FaceTime and stuff. What did it mean to you to be a part of that? I understand you talked to AB and Mike right after the game. Just what was that like for you?
Yeah, I was proud of the guys, and they earned the right to compete, and then they earned the right to go out there and play like they did. Really just so happy for them to have the success that they had.
Thank you, Tom. Jake Trotter, you're up.
Hey, Kevin, who did you get to FaceTime with first?
Well, Jarvis coming off the field FaceTimed me immediately, which was I wasn't expecting to be jumping on FaceTime about 2 seconds after the game ended. But yeah, just I think Coach O'Shea grabbed me in the locker room so I could see the coaches. It was a strange feeling. Obviously, Jake, don't plan on doing it again, but great to just let those guys know how proud of them I am.
So you had your phone off during the game, correct? When did you turn it on, and how tempted were you to turn it on during the game?
Yeah, no, I was. It was off because I didn't want the distraction of it. So I was doing a lot of pacing, and but once that game was over, I turned it on because I figured I'd get on the horn with some of the guys.
Thank you, Jake. We'll go to Marla Ridenour.
Yeah, Coach, congratulations. I don't know. I heard that somebody say you were going to mute the TV. Did you do that too?
No, I didn't mute the TV.
And while you were pacing, was there like stress eating involved or, like?
I can't taste anything, so that wouldn't have helped. But yeah, I have a newfound respect for all of our fans and how they watch those games. I like it better when I have some control.
Thank you, Marla. Scott Petrick is next.
Hey, Kevin, how did you think that Alex did calling plays, and especially that screen to Nick that went for the touchdown? Were you thinking along the same lines with him on that one?
Yeah, Alex was absolutely outstanding last night. I'm so thrilled for him in Pittsburgh, which that means a little bit extra to him, being the Pitt Panther legend that he is. So he just was dialing him up. Great call after a great call, and the guys were executing. So not surprised, but really proud of them.
Thanks.
Thank you, Scott. Mary Kay Cabot, go to you.
Yeah, Coach, you just said that you can't taste anything. So obviously you did end up having some COVID symptoms. So can you just kind of give us a little bit of an idea of what that experience has been like for you and what the outlook is for you getting back with your football team?
Yeah, I'm good, Mary Kay. Very, very mild symptoms. So I should be returning, sounds like Thursday.
Okay. And how much of an appreciation, I guess, will you have for, being back on the sideline, knowing what it felt like to be in the basement for a game?
Yeah, it's not something I take for granted. I will tell you that. I really enjoy working with the people I work with. I love coaching this team, these players. We got a bunch of fighters on this team, so looking forward to getting back in the building with them.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary Kay. To Steve Dorshett.
Coach, I guess at this point of the season, you guys are past being an underdog since you beat 4 playoff teams during the season. But you weren't supposed to have any chance, given all the circumstances, to win at Pittsburgh. And along the lines of building a culture of winning, how have you used the underdog role to motivate your team to be, to overcome that and be a winner?
Yeah, Steve, respectfully, I don't really concern myself with the outside and what they think about our football team and our chances. We got plenty to motivate us and having the opportunity to compete week in and week out. So we'll just keep the focus on us, the focus on our opponent, and really ignore all the other noise.
Thanks, Steve. Nate Ulrich has our next question.
Kevin, you're so even keeled and calm, but did you have emotion when you were watching the game when the snap went over Ben's head to begin? Did you yell? I mean, what was that like?
You know, the funny part about that is I'm in the basement isolating from my family, and I guess my feed, for whatever reason, I must have hit pause or something, was about 45 seconds behind. So I heard my kids going crazy upstairs. So I had an inkling something good was going to happen on that first play.
And just what did you think about the way that the defense was so opportunistic, and then obviously you guys are, I mean, the 28 points setting an NFL record. What did you think about the complimentary football you guys were able to play to get off to a record-setting start?
Yeah, it was, you can't, that's how you want to start every game, Nate, and it doesn't often happen, but the guys were locked in. They were all about the ball on defense, which is part of our DNA, and then being able to convert those into points. I just think our guys were flying around. They were very, very hungry, and that's what's required when you're in these playoffs. That's you got to have that level of intensity every week.
Thanks, Nate. Freed Greetham is next.
Hey, congratulations, Coach. Do you think that there's some validation you've been preaching all year? It's not who you don't have. It's playing as one and as a team. And it seemed to validate that last night. You were obviously shorthanded all the way around.
Yeah, Fred, I think we've seen that all year. We've been without guys for various reasons all year, and guys step up. That's just the nature of this beast. That's what's required. And really proud of the guys who were in there, who hadn't been in there before. I'll single out Michael Dunn. I thought he was outstanding last night. Really, really great in his technique, in his effort, in his assignment. He did a great job, among others.
Thank you, Fred. Jeff Shadell is next.
Hey, Kevin, can you kind of go back a little bit to hiring Alex Van Pelt? Because he's one of the few guys that you really didn't have a working relationship with, but you guys meshed so well. So how does that work out?
Yeah, AVP is somebody that we have a lot of mutual friends. While we didn't know each other well, we could very easily on either side pick up the phone and find out what he's all about. He could find out what I'm all about. So I was very comfortable from that standpoint. And then just how we see the game and how we view this and sharing this vision. He's in lockstep with what I believe in and our offense believes in.
Thanks, Jeff. We'll go to Didi King-Hawala.
Hi, I know that you keep saying it's not about you, that it's about the players, but football is a game of stories. So can you just give us a little color? I mean, do you have a dog? Was there a dog with you last night? Did you have a beer? Were you taking notes? Were you yelling at the TV? Can you paint that picture a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it was it's a strange feeling, Aditi. It's not, again, something I hope not to ever do again, but I tried to lock in and pay attention and try and kind of see where AVP was going and where Joe was going with some of the calls and watching along with our guys. And I just turned into the fan of the team, just pulling for our guys like crazy. But it's a very, very unique feeling not to be there with them. So there was a ton of nervous energy that usually doesn't exist on a sideline for whatever reason, but it existed for me last night.
Nick Chubb, after the game, said that maybe you should consider staying in your basement. Any possibility to that?
Sorry, Nick, you're stuck with me, buddy.
Thank you, Didi. Jake Trotter, back to you.
Yeah, Kevin, Baker has demonstrated a lot of self-belief over the years that's been, well documented, going back to when he was a walk-on in college. How much of that do you think is rubbed off on this franchise, in that locker room, on the team?
I think one of the best things about Baker is he is so very much himself at all moments. He's an authentic person, and I think that rubs off on his team. I think the way he leads by example, the way he leads vocally, the guys respond to. And that's, I think, again, speaks to him just being himself. And you're right, he's been counted out a bunch in his life.
Thanks, Jake. Tony Grossi, you're next.
All right, Kevin, congrats. Great job. I wanted to, you kind of made light that you have a newfound respect of Browns fans having to watch those games without any control of it. And I asked Prefer this last night because he is a Cleveland native. Were you nervous in the third quarter when Ben was mounting that challenge? I mean, as a fan and not as a coach, were you getting nervous?
You know, Tony, I think every game you have a nervous energy. What every player will tell you that they feel those butterflies. But once you start playing, I think that kind of goes away. I trust my team. I trust these guys. I trust the players. I trust the coaches. And I know that the goal was to find a way to win any which way we had to. And I think you saw that resiliency from that team last night. And we played a really good team. So you knew they were going to come back. That didn't surprise anybody. So the guys knew they had to weather the storm and then ultimately just find a way at the end.
Appreciate it, Tony. Scott Petrick.
And watching your team.
Go ahead, Tony. You're fine.
I'm sorry. Watching your team live for the first time without any control, did it give you a different perspective on anything about your team that you don't see from the sidelines?
I don't think so, Tony. Maybe a couple better angles of some replays. But, our guys play really, really hard. They play for each other. They fly around. So that's obvious to me when I got the front row seat that I normally have.
Thank you, Tony. Scott Petrick, your line is open.
Hey, Kevin, how are you guys able to neutralize that Steelers pass rush that led the league in sacks?
Yeah, it's never one thing, Scott. I think the play calling, I think the play execution, I think Baker understanding where to go with the ball and getting the ball out, quickly and on time. Baker scrambled, but then those guys just working their technique, diagnosing the pressures, which is a big deal and speaks to the quarterback and the center oftentimes and understanding where the pressure is coming from. So it's an all-encompassing thing when you go into play a team like that and give up 0 sacks. It's always going to be a bunch of reasons, but I just thought the guys were on point with really their assignments last night.
Thanks.
Thank you, Scott. Tom Withers, back to you.
Thanks, Rob. Kevin, Baker said that he met Blake Hance in the locker room before the game last night. Have you met Blake yet?
I'm looking forward to it.
Today's his birthday, by the way.
Happy birthday, Blake.
Hey, and Kevin, all year you've talked about next man up. Why has this group grasped that more than any that we can recall?
I don't know, Tom. They've been put in these positions early and often this season. It's something we've talked about, but you don't often speak things into existence. So I just give credit to the players and in how they've responded. They've been about the doing.
Thank you, Tom. We'll go to Mary Kay Cabot.
Yeah, Coach, can you just address 2 things real quick? Number one, last week you sent the message to your football team that anybody that's in the tournament now is in here to win the Super Bowl and anybody can get it done. And that belief really seems to be pervasive among your guys. So can you just first address that? Yeah,
we're one of 8 teams. Not a math major, but I like, we'll take those chances. And that's what the guys understand. This is the fun part about the playoffs. Yeah, every game gets bigger and bigger, and the challenge gets bigger and bigger. And got a big challenge this week playing the Super Bowl champs.
And do you have a sense in the even in the short time that you've been here, and with COVID not being able to get out and about as much as you normally would have, do you have a sense of just what this means to all these fans in Cleveland and to this entire city?
I do. And I've done a lot of driving around town the last few days just because I got to get out of here. And just to see all the Browns flags and seeing everybody wearing the Browns hats, I definitely feel it. I think our players understand how big it is for this community, and we got to keep it going.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary Kay. Dan Lobby, you're up.
Hey, Kevin, just to kind of spin this forward a little bit. I don't know if as you were coming up, if you studied other offensive coordinators or offenses or anything like that, if Andy Reid would have been one of those guys, and just in general, what you kind of think of him as a play caller and some of the creative stuff that they do there.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Reid is as good as they get. You know, obviously myself growing up as an Eagles fan, I was able to cheer for a bunch of his teams, and he does an outstanding job with his team, and then in particular the offense. He's a great technician in what he has his team do. I've always respected how much they've evolved over the years and the different things that they do, which are so different to what they were doing, 20 years ago in Philadelphia. So I just think I think so highly of him as a coach. I know a bunch of their coaches. It's a really, really good coaching staff. So you combine good players with good coaches, you get a team like that. So we understand that we got our work cut out for us this week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. We'll go to Andrew Gribble.
Yeah, Coach, I was just wondering if there's any significance behind Miles and Baker getting the captaincies on their jersey for the first time last night.
Yeah, that was the plan all along, Andrew, was to have postseason captains after having game captains during the season. And Charlie Hewlett was a captain as well. So offense, defense, and special teams.
Thank you, Andrew. Aaron Goldhammer, you have our next question.
Hey, Coach. There was a lot of talk on social media after the game and in the locker room about Juju's comments about the Browns before the game. Are you a believer in bulletin board material, and how did your team use that as a little extra inspiration for that game last night?
Yeah, I think the guys understand, the competitive nature of all of these players and these teams. So I think they're plenty motivated to play hard for their teammates, to play hard for the fans. I don't know that we need a ton of additional stuff to get excited and get ready for a game.
Thanks, Aaron. Nate Ulrich, you have our next question.
Hey, Kevin, are the Joel Bitonio and Kaderil Hodge, Denzel Ward and Kevin Johnson, are you feeling good about their chances of returning this week? The timeline would suggest that, like you, they would be able to make it back.
Yeah, Nate, I'll just update those guys as it becomes appropriate, but I don't have anything specific on them right now.
Do you have anything on any of your assistants who have been out?
No.
Callahan or anybody else?
Yeah, we'll just kind of take it day by day there.
Thanks.
Thank you, Nate. We're going to take two more. Didi Kinkawala, Jeff Shadell, one question apiece, please.
Rob, you're killing me. Okay, we'll go with this one. I understand that all the questions you received last week about how much the Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger have had your number, this commentary that the Browns are the Browns, it's not necessarily extra motivation, but does it make winning there and winning against that team all the more significant as you're trying to show this is indeed a new Browns culture and a new Browns organization?
No, Aditi, it doesn't. I have a ton of respect for that organization. I have a ton of respect for Coach Tomlin and his entire staff. It's just good to get a win versus a really good opponent any way you can get it.
Thank you, Didi. Final one to Jeff Shadell.
Kevin, the fact that your team had never been in a situation like that last night, could you just talk about the maturity of your team, the way they handled that comeback by Pittsburgh?
Yeah, Jeff, I think we've been in a bunch of games this year, and you never know how the flow of the game's going to go. But when you're playing a really good football team, you know that they're going to come back and have some success, and you're going to have to weather a storm. Now, we'd love to not have that, and there's things that we can do way better there, especially in the middle part of that game and towards the end of the game. I think we can improve in those areas, but there's some quality opponents that we're facing. That one last night was a very quality opponent that we knew was going to keep swinging. So that's what our guys did. They continued to fight. That's what's required in postseason football.